is Friday night, hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night hangout. It's Friday night hangout. It's safe space for ideation.
Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals and living a fulfilling life. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult today. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesohcoachingconsult.com. Hey, welcome to another amazing episode of Friday Night Hangout. My name is Joy Onyesoh, and I'm always excited to welcome you into another episode of Friday Night. Last week we talked about clarity in goals, how to set and achieve what's next. And tonight's conversation, it's even hotter. This is episode 20. This is episode 241. Oh my goodness. 241, season 22. So, how has your week been? How has your day been? Please use the comment section to let me know how you're doing. So, tonight we're going to be talking about clarity in communication, how to say what you mean. How to say what you mean. This is really very important. You know, sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, but that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean to say." So why what you mean? So don't go anywhere. Stay right here with me. The conversation is going to be interesting. It's going to be hot. It's going to be spicy, and you know that we're on the eve of Valentine's Day. So don't go anywhere. We're going to have a beautiful love conversation as we move along. Don't forget to subscribe and like our YouTube channel, Friday Night Hangout, also the Power Woman TV channel on YouTube. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed or following Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult on Facebook, this will be the time for you to do that. So follow us on Friday Night Hangout Power Woman TV. So before we go right into the conversation, I want us to just talk about what are some of the things that make us not to be clear. You know, and then the people, your audience will take it the other way around. But tonight, by the time you stay in and we finish this conversation, you will be very good at saying exactly what you mean to say. You wouldn't mean something else, say something else, think something else, say something else. But just to go right in, I remember some time, I think that was last week, my front desk officer. The next thing I saw, like, wow, why? What happened? What did you hear? So I said something else. She had something else. She took another action, and the person that the message was intended for took another action. And we're going to dissect this and see how that plays out in our everyday life. Haven't you had sometimes you situations where maybe you talk to your kids, you ask them to do one thing, and they hear something else, and they're doing something else. So tonight we're going to really look at what does it mean to be clear about communication. The first thing about clear communication is one, it means that you say whatever it is you want to say, you pass your message in a way that one is easy to understand, two is straightforward, and three, free from confusion. That looks simple, but it's packed. But not to worry, we're going to unpack them as we move along. So we're going to be looking at three key things. How do you say what you want to say in a way that one is easy to understand? Two is direct. Three is free from confusion. Sometimes some people will be communicating with me and I am just lost. Why? I just don't know where the conversation is going to. Too many information in a very short, time frame, different line of thoughts, so many things. And sometimes they will go, we have what we call in Enugu, we have what we call the merry-go-round. So these buses that will start from one end and will take you through different routes in the city before you arrive at your final destination. And I want you to think about communication like that. So are you a merry-go-round? You have something to say, but instead of saying what you want to say directly or in a concise manner, you would take your audience on a merry-go-round. So being at the destination, the person is, you hit at it without taking us round and round and round. And that brings me to the other part, which is about being specific. Be very specific. How can you be specific? Use examples. Give more details. Don't assume that people understand what you're saying. I used to be in that space where I would always assume, you're thinking something in your head and something else is coming out through your mouth. And then you assume that what you've thought is what you've said. But if you have two or three persons, they'll say, oh, no, that's not what you said. And you'll be like, wow, okay, but this is what I thought I said. And if it's recorded, you will hear what you said and you will know that it's different from what you're thinking. So being intentional is also very key. That comes with what? Active listening. What is active listening? Active listening is when you pay attention, you're focused to what the other party is saying, and you are listening with an understanding. So you know how sometimes someone is talking, you're not listening, you're zoned off, and in your mind you're already fabricating the response you want to give to the person. So as the person is giving it to you, you're giving it to the person, and you are not even listening to understand what the person is saying. So if you have to communicate clearly, you need to be an active listener. It means that you need to take time to listen. And then you need to communicate in an active voice. What does that mean? It means that the subject in that sentence is the one performing the action. For instance, I would say, oh, my team members are working on this, right? Meaning that the team members are the one doing the work, rather than saying the project is being worked on by the team members, right? That's a passive voice. So when you use active voice, it is more engaging. People get to understand, it's more conversational and it carries people along. So always make sure that your audience, understands what you're saying when you use an active voice. You also want to know your audience. The way you speak to person A is not the way you speak to person B. What do I mean by this? You always need to test the temperature of the room or the person you're speaking with. You don't want to go to using big language, technical language, and then you miss the person out. If I have to send my cleaner, for example, on an errand, I find myself speaking to her most times in pidgin language, in pidgin English, so she understands clearly what I'm saying. And now I've taken it a step further. I would always ask her, do you understand what I mean? What did you hear? In fact, just before coming into the studio, I sent on an errand and I said, did you hear what I said? Yes. Did you understand what I mean? Yes. Can you repeat what I said? And I was sure she understood exactly what I was asking her to do. So audience feedback is also a critical aspect of clear communication. You want to make sure that you ask questions, maybe you reiterate, you ask for feedback, so you're sure that what you've said is what has been understood, and that the action you want them to take as a result of the information you've passed is what happens. So you don't assume that what you intend to say is what you've said and is what has been understood, because communication can only happen, effective communication can only happen when the message you pass to your audience is understood and the feedback you get is in alignment with what action or whatever it is you want to see them do. So if you're managing a team or you're a leader, please form the habit of saying whatever you want to say in very simple language, asking for feedback, using active voice, practicing active listening, right? And also being specific and concise, so that you're not in your communication going everywhere with the message you want to pass, and then they get confused and they're wondering, okay, so what is she really saying? What does she want me to do as a result of this? How am I supposed to act? And that creates a lot of uneasiness. It creates a whole lot of tension. It even creates conflict in some instances, right? Even among friends. Oh, but that's not what I meant by what I said. Oh, but that's what I understood you say. So let's be more intentional. Clarity is everything. Having a deep understanding. So don't go anywhere. Just stay right here with us. We'll be back in a minute. Let's take this quick ad. See you shortly. Ever feel like you're running on autopilot, but deep down, you know there's more to your story? That's where Clarity Lounge comes in. We're creating a space for women to pause, reflect, and gain clarity on their goals and purpose. I am Joy Onyesoh, your clarity and focus coach, and I look forward to welcoming you to the Clarity Lounge Masterclass. In this masterclass, you'll get expert coaching to help you overcome self-doubt and achieve a boost in your confidence. You also get our proprietary clarity framework to guide your decision making, goal setting, and result-focused actions. Connections with like-minded women who support and uplift you. You will also learn risk and trade-off analysis and intentional goal-setting architecture and much more. Join us on March 21st, 2026 for in-person 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. limited slots. Imagine having a clear vision for your next 6 months, a support system that drives your success, the tools to overcome obstacles and stay focused, and a personalized plan using our clarity framework. You want to take the first step towards clarity? Get registered, and I'll see you at the Clarity Lounge. Okay, so welcome back. That's the Clarity Lounge Masterclass, which will be happening on the 21st of March, 2026. It's a hybrid session, meaning that we'll have people who will come into the Clarity Lounge in person, and then we'll have those who will join us via Zoom virtually. So we've put it out there. The link to register is in the comment section, so you can just click on it and register. We look forward to seeing you in the Clarity Lounge. So if you're just joining us, welcome. We're having a conversation on clarity in communication, how to say what you mean. Now, we have talked about the power of active listening, why you need to pay attention. You listen to understand, not just to respond. You pay attention also to non-verbal cues. You see, this one is very key. Most of us do not pay attention to non-verbal cues. We just feel that, oh, we know what the person is saying. And the body language is as important as the verbal language. So pay attention to non-verbal cues and then reflect back on what you heard. So don't be quick to jump out and respond. Rather, ask yourself internally, process what it is you've heard the other party say, so you can make sure you're responding to the right question. Sometimes I find myself telling someone, you haven't responded to the question. This is not what I asked you. I know why that happens. When someone else is communicating, you are not really listening actively. You heard the first bit of the sentence and you already jumped to conclusion without even getting the other bit to make sense of the whole communication that is being passed. So please practice reflecting on what you said before profiling a response. Then you can also practice asking clarifying questions. Can you help me understand? If you're on the other way and someone else is communicating, because communication is a two-way thing. So if you're the one that is being, the message is being passed to you, you also have the responsibility of making sure you understand what is being communicated. Now, there is no harm in asking, please help me understand what you're saying. Is this what you mean? What I'm hearing is 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this what you mean? Now you give the person the opportunity to say yes, no, and then the person clarify. Now, another, pit in communication is when we start mind reading, we make assumptions. Someone is talking, you've blanked out or you've zoomed out. You've moved into the assumptive mode where you are mind reading, you're overthinking, you're analyzing, and you're missing out completely on what the person is saying. So even you as the person listening, please make sure that you're hearing well and ask clarifying questions for you to understand what is being said. Now, communicating effectively in a relationship is so important, whether it's a workplace relationship, a personal relationship, and it also helps for you to set boundaries respectfully. If you cannot communicate effectively, then there are going to be a lot of triggers, there are going to be a lot of boundary crossing, and of course, what will happen will be conflict. So you want to pay attention to the fact that whatever it is you want to say is what you say. And that strategy for making sure that what you want to say is what you say is by thinking about what you want to say. Sometimes we just open our mouth and we begin to speak without actually giving it a thought to say, okay, what message do I want to pass? And what do I want the person to do as a result of the message I'm passing? Now, whoever it is you're speaking with is also very important. You want to know the person I'm speaking with, how does the person communicate? What kind of level of understanding does the person have? Perhaps if you're working in a team, you will know that there is a difference in how you communicate amongst team members. You don't use the same communication style. But the most critical basic thing is that you learn how to effectively say what you think. And it starts from being intentional, thinking through the message you want to pass, being sure that what you're saying is said in a simple language. Haven't you met people that like to use very big words? They like to use grammar. And they feel that one way of showing that you're a grammarian or that you have effective command of English language using bogus, big grammar. And let me tell you, that doesn't work. Your audience determines if you're communicating effectively or not. So if you go and you start using bogus, you use jargons, you use all of those things, and then your audience is not in a place to understand what you've said, you failed in communicating. So 1, think about what you want to say intentionally. 2, think about who the person you're passing the message to is. 3, think about the action you want the person to take as a result of what you are saying. And then 4, be open to feedback. Some of us are very aggressive. When someone is asking, please, can you clarify? I do not understand. Take time to explain what it is that you're saying. So if you say something and someone says to you, please, I do not understand what you mean, that already is a litmus test to say you are not communicating effectively. You need to communicate effectively. And now I want to ask you this. Where do you struggle most with communication? Is it expressing your needs, expressing the action you want the person to take, or is it in listening actively or managing the feedback? So let us know what it is that you struggle with in communication. Let's know, share what it is, so we can know what it is that you struggle with, and we can take it from there. This is going to be an interactive session. So let's see your response. I want to read some of the responses to know what is being said. Okay, Ozioma Golden says, but this is not a response to the question anyway, but this is a chat she has put out there, and I'm going to read this. And she says, think through the message you would like to pass. Showing off your high level of big grammar doesn't pass your message to the audience. Think about the message, think about the audience, be open to feedback. If you must communicate effectively, refuse to be aggressive. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Ozioma Golden. You have succinctly, explained what it is we've been talking about. So you're also concise in the message you're passing across. Thank you for that. And let's see the next comment. Okay. Now, if you're just joining us, the conversation is still clarity in communication, how to say what you mean. And I want you to sit in on this. I'm going to give you an assignment that you're going to practice next week, even starting from now when you leave this show. I want you to think through how you communicate. What's your communication style? Are you guilty of any of what we've said? Do you use big grammar? Do you use jargons in speaking? Do you communicate without ensuring you get a feedback from your audience? Do you reflect at all on the message you want to pass and on what action you want them to take as a message you have passed? Okay, so if you're just joining us, we have discussed what clarity in communication means. I'm going to summarize our conversation this evening. So we said clarity in communication means conveying your message in a manner that is easy to understand, straightforward, and free from confusion, which means you're not going to use technical languages, jargons, big grammar. You're going to ensure that you listen to your audience body language. You're an active listener. You use an active voice. And what does an active voice mean? It means where the subject in the sentence is the one performing the action. And I gave an example. I said, when you say the team is working on the project. So what you're telling us is that the person doing the work is the team. Is engaging, is conversational, and is easy to understand. But when you say the project is being worked on by the team, that is a passive language and is not as conversational and easy to understand as using an active voice. So I want you to check how you write, because communication can either be reading, can either be or oral. So please check how you write and how you speak to make sure that you are using active voice in communicating and not passive voice. And we also said that you want to be sure that you give as much details as possible without being verbose, right? So you want to use simple language. You want to keep it straightforward. You don't want to take us on a merry-go-round before we can understand what you're saying. I don't know if we have merry-go-round in Lagos, but in Enugu we have merry-go-round where I live. And this is that, I think it's a 508 or 608 bus. It will take you round the city. So, for instance, I want to go to Abani Road. It might start from one location. By the time it takes me around there, oh my goodness, it will take me much longer time to get to my destination. You don't want to be a person that communicates like that. You don't want to take your audience on a merry-go-round. You want to be straight to the point. You want to keep your conversation free from confusion so that what you mean is what you say. And I also said, think about whatever it is you want to say. Process it in your mind before you say it. Don't just act on emotions. Something comes to your mind and you just open your mouth and you say it out. Sit on it a little bit and, process it before saying it. Now, I want you to have one honest conversation this weekend, maybe with your sibling or with your partner, with a friend, to say, how do you see my communication skill set? Am I always straightforward to you? Am I easy to understand? What will make it easier for you to understand what I mean? And let me tell us, this is one way of, avoiding conflicts. If you make sure you get feedback as to how you communicate, and then you work on any of the weaknesses, you keep improving. As long as we're breathing and we're alive, there's always room for improvement. Then you also want to practice active listening. You're having a conversation, especially with one who is slow in articulating thoughts. See, these ones that challenge you. I know, because personally sometimes I get aggravated when someone is very slow in telling me whatever it is. So you have to push yourself a little bit beyond that boundary to say, okay, let me practice active listening. And then you feel free to give the person feedback to say, can you go straight to the point? Can you tell me this? And like I said, ask clarifying questions. And then finally, do not be assumptive. Ask questions where you do not understand. Listen so you do not hear something else while something else is being said. Now, before we go on, I also want to invite you to join us next week, Friday, because we are having another topic, clarity in decision making. How can you make decisions without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling uncertain, without procrastinating? How do you cut through the noise and make sure that you're taking decisions that can enable you to meet your goals? I'm going to be inviting a special guest of honor next week, Friday. We're going to have a special guest in the Friday Night Hangout studio. Hey, who is excited? I am excited. And I'm going to keep her name secret. But just know she's a he, she's a she. Right? And she's going to be joining us next week, Friday. So join us next week, Friday, as we talk on clarity in decision making, cutting through the noise. Thank you so much for joining in. Please do not run away yet. We have something for you at the end of the show. I just want to thank everyone. Without you, there'll be no Friday Night Hangout. Thank you so much, Friday Night Hangout community. I see some of you, you've been here with us through the years. We're almost getting to our 6th year, and we hope to get better and better. So let us know what you want to see on the show, what will help you better. Here we have topical conversations on things that can improve your personal development and your business growth. So this is where those conversations happen in a relaxed atmosphere, right? And don't forget that we have the Clarity Lounge Masterclass coming up on the 21st of March. Registration is open, and the link is in the comment section. Just click on it and get registered. You can either join us virtually or you join us in person. And that's the master class for the Clarity Lounge. Don't also forget to join us or follow us on all the JOCC platforms. And please share the replay with anyone who you know will benefit from this. And welcoming to next week, Friday, invite a friend, because the conversation is going to be hot. Our special guest is hot. She's loaded and she's ready to share with us from her wealth of experience. So until I see you next week, Friday, from everyone here in the Friday Night Hangout studio, thank you so much. God bless you and have a beautiful weekend. Ever feel like you're running on autopilot, but deep down, you know there's more to your story? That's where Clarity Lounge comes in. We're creating a space for women to pause, reflect, and gain clarity on their goals and purpose. I am Joy Onyesoh, your clarity and focus coach, and I look forward to welcoming you to the Clarity Lounge Masterclass. In this masterclass, you'll get expert coaching to help you overcome self-doubt and achieve a boost in your confidence. You also get our proprietary clarity framework to guide your decision making, goal setting, and result-focused actions. Connections with like-minded women who support and uplift you. You will also learn risk and trade-off analysis and intentional goal setting architecture and much more. Join us on March 21st, 2026 for in-person 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. limited slots. Imagine having a clear vision for your next 6 months, a support system that drives your success, the tools to overcome obstacles and stay focused, and a personalized plan using our clarity framework. You want to take the first step towards clarity? Get registered, and I'll see you at the Clarity Lounge.